Last time on the Factory Flare SMP, we filled up our workshop with tons of really useful machines. And in this episode, we're going to get started on the power plant. A few days ago, I streamed for a little bit and made that platform you can see behind me. That is where the power plant is going to be. But as you can see, there is just a giant hole in between this. Now this is actually the same level as that ground over here. But I'm going to hop on stream for a bit, get this hole all the way filled in, and then we can get started on the power plant. And after about an hour of streaming, we have this plot of land behind us, and during the stream, we also managed to make a jetpack. It's very similar to the builder's jetpack, but it is actually from the create jetpack mod. But now that we have the platform, we can finally get started on building the power station behind me. Now for the palette of the building, I was thinking I'm going to use kind of a brick, granite, and polished granite mixture. Mostly brick, but just some granite for texturing. And then I want to have these copper shingles for the roof. I think they'll look really well, just kind of a mix of those two. And then I definitely want to add in some of these weathered iron windows, just for some windows, because I love how they look with like the different colors and stuff. I've laid down a foundation for about how big I want the power station to be, but this build, it might take a while, so let's hop into a building montage. Hey guys, Blazy here. I just finished building this entire power station behind me, the outside of the building, and when I checked the replay mod, all of the footage was corrupted or something, and it didn't work, so sadly, this episode, we are not going to have a building time lapse. I recorded all of it, but it won't work for some reason. So we won't have a building time lapse, but as you can see behind me, we got the power station done. We haven't filled in the inside yet. I still have to put all the power stuff in and maybe add some windmills. So like the lava and the water will always be powered. So if it shuts off, it won't, like I won't have to come back and manually start it. It will just automatically restart once it gets lava or whatever it needs to restart it. The very first thing we're going to need to start producing power is lava. Now one way you can get infinite lava is if you get it from the nether, or the other way is you can make basically an infinite lava pool, but a man-made one. As long as the lava pool has at least 10,000 full blocks of lava, you'll be able to take infinite lava from that lava pool. So what I need to do now is if I place down a bunch of drills, you can see I am at Y level 106. I need to make a giant hole all the way down to about Y level 6. I normally like to go a little bit lower just in case. It never hurts to have extra lava. And then we need to fill this entire hole up with lava so I can take from it with the hose pulley. Or I don't have a hose pulley on me, but then when the hose pulley takes from it, it won't go down, and I basically have infinite lava. And 10 by 10, so a 10 by 10 hole and 100 blocks deep will be 10,000 blocks of lava. So if I throw down a rope pulley, I'll just use a hand crank, and when I send this down, I have to do it the other way. It will send the drills all the way down to the bottom as long as I am pushing this hand crank. This hand crank is way too slow, so I'm gonna go grab some water wheels so I can basically just make it faster. And I also need to get some chests for this because you can see it's just dropping all the items onto the ground. Alright, I've got a few water wheels set up and I just attached it to a speed controller. So if I connect this to the rope pulley, it should go a lot faster. And there we go, that's so much faster than just using a hand crank. Although I did forget to bring some chests with me to pick up the items, so those are just gonna go everywhere. Well, I can always go down there and pick all of them up later. But now we need to just let this run until it gets about to Y level 0, I should say. It's always good to give yourself a little bit of extra lava, just to make sure you don't actually accidentally run out. And then you'll have to refill it by another source. And we just passed Y level 50, so we are about halfway down from the Y level that we need to get to. We're at 36 right now, so it shouldn't be too much longer until we have a deep enough hole for the lava. And there we go, we have reached Y level 0. You can see the drill coming up right now. Although I do believe we ran into a ravine near the bottom, and that could be bad. The lava needs it needs to be enclosed. There can't be a hole at the bottom or it will all spill out. So I'm gonna need to go and manually patch up that hole with I gotta pick up all the blocks that were left by this drill. I can just throw them in my backpack right here. And with all this cobble and everything else, I can patch that hole down at the bottom. And with the hole patched, I think it's finally about time that we get all of the lava in. Now there is a little bit of a trick you can do. Instead of actually getting 10,000 full buckets of lava, if you just fill up the top layer with lava and then let it all spill down to the bottom, it should make full blocks of lava. But to do that, I need to get rid of all these drills first. And how this works, you need to fill up every top layer on top of this cobblestone here with a full bucket of lava. Now I do have to make sure I don't get burnt while I'm doing this, but I did make an extra buffer tank of lava over my power behind my workshop. So I just grabbed 100 buckets from there, and now we can get started on filling this entire thing up with full buckets of lava. And now we have the entire top layer filled up. I think I may have missed a few spots, but it should still fill up fine. Now I need to go down into the hole and break the cobblestone. If I do it fast enough, I should be able to get through without burning to death because I do have my jetpack. So if I break the cobblestone here and then go in, I'm gonna die. Okay, I might need to go get some water breathing or something like that. My bad, guys, not water breathing. I meant fire resistance, but I did manage to get down here. So all we have to do now is just break all of these cobblestone blocks and let the lava flow down to the bottom and fill it up. You can see it's already flowing down pretty fast, so it shouldn't be too long after I break all the blocks to where we have a full over 10,000 blocks of lava. Alright, and this should be the very last block. If I just head into my little escape tunnel right here, you can see all of the lava is flowing down to the bottom. And once this reaches, all of it reaches the very bottom, I should just be able to use a hose pulley and I will get infinite lava. Now it is pretty cool. You can kind of see the order I broke the blocks and how it's coming down. Like I broke this layer, then these ones, and it kind of spirals up, then goes back, and each layer up is a block that I broke in a separate order. But I do have to escape back up from the top. It's just right up here, I believe. So I'll just grab some pipes, the mechanical pump, and the hose pulley. So once this goes, I need to get the hose pulley all the way to the bottom of this lava pit, so the very bottom block, in order to make sure that it actually is infinite. And for this, I'm pretty sure I can just use a hand crank. Well, I have to turn it the opposite way. That's actually really slow. I do have power right here, so I can test it out, so I am just gonna take that, and hopefully if I grab some gearboxes, that's going the wrong way. So if I just reverse it here, the hose pulley will go all the way to the bottom. And if I do it now, it's just gonna take lava. So I still have to wait until all of the lava reaches the bottom of the pit. Alright, the lava has fully reached the bottom of the hole. I know it doesn't really look like it, but if you look up at the top, you can see that it is lava. So now all we need to do is, if we go over to the other side right here, you can see there is an opening for a pipe. And what you need to do to get the lava out, it's pretty simple. You just need to get a pump. And now I don't want this spilling lava everywhere, so I'll just add a pipe going into a block. But to test this, we need to power that pump. And I don't think I brought any cogwheels with me. I did bring a large cogwheel. That's not what I need. Alright, that's fine. I have a log on me. So if I grab some planks, use a shaft. So have this like that. And you can see tapping the mantle achievement. And if you look at the hose pulley, it says bottomless supply. That means I can take as much lava out of this hole as I want to, and it basically won't get any emptier. I can just keep taking it over and over again, and I'll basically just have infinite lava. I think I have an idea of how I actually want to set up these steam engines, like where I'm going to put them. I want them to be showing on the outside of the building just a little bit, because I don't know, I think it would look cool. So if we put the 9 blaze burners down, and then I believe this just needs to be, that's 3, 4, 5, and then 6 blocks tall, if I'm correct. This should be enough size for a level 9 steam engine, which is what I'm going to be using for all 4 of these steam engines. So I'm just going to copy this design on the other side over there. So our main problem is, obviously you can't just pump lava straight into blaze burners. You need to use buckets, and the only way you can make buckets is with a spout. So we need to make kind of a setup to spout lava into buckets, and either use a belt or fling it using an ejector over here. Have an arm, like deploy it or just put it on the blaze burners, and then we need to fling the empty buckets back over here to get refilled in the lava buckets, and then they can go fling back over there and feed even more blaze burners. So how we're going to do this, we need the spouts right here, and then we're going to need to put a belt. So I'll make this belt 4 blocks long, and of course we need another belt on the other side. These two are basically just going to get mirrored on each side. Then if we put a barrel on each of these, and then we're going to need another barrel at the end, I believe, but we can do that later. And then just take a funnel and put it outputting on these so they'll go onto the belt. And then we're going to need another barrel here, and that will take up the lava buckets. So then the ejector, the weighted ejector, we're going to need to set up a depot to. So slap down a depot here and make the weighted ejector go from, so launch to that depot from over here. And then we just have to do the exact same thing on the other side. So take a weighted ejector, send it to that depot, and just slap it down here, and then put a funnel on each side. So the lava buckets will go in that barrel, get flung on this depot, and then this depot, a mechanical arm will take it off and put it in here. Then we need another way to send the empty buckets back. So if we take a funnel and put it actually on top of each barrel here, and then if I connect a weighted ejector to that funnel there and put it here, it will be able to launch the empty buckets back into this first barrel to get filled up with lava again, and then go through the entire process. So then I just have to do, I think I just actually put it in the barrel, set it to that again, and then put it on this side. And to make sure this only gets the empty buckets, we actually need a brass funnel so we can set it. So onto here, and set the filter to only buckets, and do the exact same thing over here on the other side again. Like I said earlier, I want this lava filling station to be completely separate from the power being generated by the steam engines. And to do that, I think the best way is just going to be to use windmills. I'm definitely gonna want to use 2 of them, but I think the perfect spot is to just put it in this kind of roof area right here. I don't actually know if I'm gonna have enough wool to get this completely going, but we can definitely do it a start. So I want an andesite bar there, and I might actually swap out the girders for like industrial iron blocks or something like that. Oh no, I don't want an andesite bar there. And after a bit of tinkering around, I managed to get the first windmill done. I have some levers on the bottom to kind of just transition it into the side, and if we test it right now, it should work perfectly, and it does. It has a decent amount of wool on it, so it should produce enough stress units. It's making 2,560, so with 2 of them, that should be plenty of power to run this and then the mechanical arms that are going to go on each side. And since I already built this one, I'm just going to take a schematic and put it over here. Now that we have the windmills in, we need to get the power from those right there and bring it down to this lava setup. So that should be pretty easy. I just need to break these blocks here and put in some gearboxes for each side like so. So that the power is now coming from there and also there, but they are actually going the same way. So if we join them in the middle with some shafts, we can then bring it all the way down to the bottom, and we will need to grab a rotation speed controller, because right now you can see that's going very slow, or actually it's not going at all for some reason. Let me see. Oh, they're going the same direction. We don't want them going the same direction. So if I swap the direction of that one, now it should work, I think. Oh no, I've been doing it wrong. It's gotta go this way. I think yes, I have a rotation speed controller on me. So if I grab a gearbox, make it vertical, large cogwheel, and speed controller, if we speed this up to 256, now we have plenty of like speedy power to go around. I do want to hide this in the floor just to make it look a little bit better, so we can just get some shafts and then encase them with andesite casing. But we have the pump down here, and then we need to power each of the belts leading into here. We want to make sure they're going the right way, so I'll bring the power up here like this actually, and throw a gearbox in there. That's actually going the wrong way, so if we flip that, now it's going the right way. And then I should be able to throw another gearbox down there, and that will pump the lava all the way from the infinite lava into here, and it did. You can see it's filling up, and hopefully another one right here, and it's going the wrong way. That's an easy solution. Just put a shaft there, and then make this actually a vertical gearbox. And now each belt is going the right way, and we can encase all of these shafts and the belts. The only problem now is we have to get power to these ejectors. That should be pretty easy though, if I just connect them there. And then I also need to connect this one, but I am out of gearboxes, so I need to go make some more. Alright, so I have grabbed some more gearboxes. I connected up to the weighted ejector, and I also brought power to each side. So now what we need to do is set up the mechanical arms to take the lava buckets from this depot and deposit them in these blaze burners. So we want to, like I said, deposit into each blaze burner. We want to pick up from this depot and then deposit into this. The mechanical arm will only put empty buckets in here because it has the filter on it. So then put you here, And then once we power it with a cogwheel, oh wait, no, I forgot one step. This one mechanical arm needs to power both ones. So deposit to all 18 of the blaze burners instead of just 9 of them. Hopefully this will reach. Then deposit and extract from here. And there we go. Now, once we get a lava bucket, it should work. So if we test it, now grab one bucket, put it in this barrel, it will get lava, it will get flung over there, the arm will grab it, it will get flung back, and it will just repeat the entire process. You can see in the back right there that one blaze burner is on, so we can tell it's working. And then since we have infinite lava, this will just keep going until all of them are filled up. And now we just need to do the exact same thing over here. So again, we want to deposit to each of the blaze burners, like so. Select all these, then deposit to this funnel, extract from the depot, and place right here, and that's good, it reaches. So then when we power this, I'll grab the rest of the buckets, put a bucket in here, it should get flung, grab it, power the blaze burner, and get flung back. So the entire system works perfectly, but one way we could make it faster is just fill up each side with an entire stack of barrels. That way we'll always have some extra in here no matter what, and you can see it's actually quite funny to watch the empty barrels being flung back and the full ones being flung towards these. And now that we have the blaze burners set up, we do actually have to turn these into steam engines. Right now they are just fluid tanks, but as soon as we put a steam engine on here, it works perfectly. You can see has enough size and enough heat. I believe for 147,000 stress units, you need 9 engines. And also what we need to do, we need to feed water into each of these, because, well, it is a steam engine, so it does need water. So we can just make a pretty simple infinite water source. We can probably make one like in the middle, and then pipe it into each one of these, and then have one on each side. Okay, so I have added the water in right behind there, and everything should be set up correctly. So all I have to do now is just add in a cog here, and it will start pumping water, and hopefully it should start generating power. So you can see it now, and yes, it works perfectly. Actually not perfectly. We're only making 98,000 stress units. This should be making, I see, it doesn't have enough water for some reason. So I guess I need to add more pumps, or maybe that's the problem. No, so I need to add more pumps for water. I guess one isn't enough. I actually didn't know that. Okay, now I have 1 pump per steam engine, so this should work if I power it again. And it's overstressed. That's not good. I guess the 2 windmills here aren't generating enough power for the entire thing. That should honestly be a pretty simple fix, because I like how the windmills look and I want to keep them like that. So I'll just add some extra water wheels underground to just give it that extra boost of power it needs to run these pumps. I added in a few more, or actually not a few more, I just added in some water wheels down here. This should give the windmills that little boost they need to run these pumps. There we go, it's working. You can see the water is flowing out of each one. And if you look here, 114, so it still doesn't have enough power. That means we're gonna need 3 pumps per 2 steam engines. So if I put that one there and then add a fluid pipe, I gotta get rid of that water though. Add a fluid pipe. There we go. So 3 pumps per 2 steam engines, but we are now generating 147,000 stress units per steam engine. Now we still have to get those two over there set up with water, but eventually we will be able to connect all of these and have, well, 150,000, about 150,000 times 4 is 600,000 stress units. And hopefully I might be able to sell oh, that's a creeper. Well, ignore the creeper. Hopefully I might be able to sell power to some of the other server members, because I know I've heard people talking about needing some more power, and if I just have a power station, I have extra power, you know, I might as well sell it and make some money. I've spent a bit of time basically just decorating the entire power plant. You can see behind me we have a board. This lists the total capacity that we are generating from the steam engines, how much we're using. Right now we're only using 4,096, and that is because of that power loader right there. I wanted to make sure this area is loaded, so no matter where we are, the power will always be loaded, so it will be able to reach even when some of the chunks are unloaded. I've also added a ton of kind of just structural support with the girders and added some lighting in so we don't have to put torches around everywhere and have them be kind of ugly. I came up with the name Lazy Power Corps. Just, I don't know, I think it sounds good. If you guys have any suggestions, you can put them in the comments. But yeah, I think this looks a lot better now. It's also going at 256 speed with that speed controller up there, and all of the water and the lava systems are powered by the windmills and the water wheels down here. So it's basically the lava and the water are completely automatic, so as long as nothing else weird fails, this should keep going forever without me having to do anything. And hopefully 589,000 stress units is plenty at the start. We can always add some more steam engines or add another building around here if we ever need more power. One thing I do want to do before we finish off this product is I want to add kind of a courtyard out in the front here. It's looking a little bland, like on the ground in the front. I kind of just have these steps right here, and then of course we have the building, but besides that it's just the grass area, and there's nothing really else on the outside. Even behind the back over here, it's just kind of bland, and I feel like we could add some more stuff to make this look a little better. Like I said, I want to have sort of a courtyard out front, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna have a fence kind of surrounding the perimeter on the side, and then in the front, and I'll fill the ground in with andesite to kind of make it look like, I don't know, I can mix in some andesite and gravel to make it look good. But that means we're going to have to dig out all the grass, so I'm going to get started on that. I've surrounded a big chunk of the entire power plant area with andesite, and now all we've got left to do is kind of build the fence around it. I'm thinking of using layered tuff for kind of a bottom, and then with one of the macaws mod, it adds either the twilight metal fence, where I think there's a fence that has kind of like a barbed wire on top, if that makes sense. So I'm thinking of using something like this for the walls, or maybe the mesh metal fence, but we will have to see. For now, let's just finish the base area. And now that we have the layered tuff placed all the way around the building, we are ready to go make a ton of fences. I did leave an opening in the front here, which I think is going to be kind of the entrance to the compound, or whatever you want to call it. So I'll add maybe some stairs or something similar in the front right here, so you can just get up and walk to the power plant. Actually, instead of using those fences from macaws I talked about, I think I'm just going to stick with the basic andesite bars and iron bars. I want it to mainly be andesite bars, but still have some iron bars like mixed in, so I can just use the shuffle mode mod, and that makes it so when I am placing down the fence, if I make sure it's enabled, it will just shuffle between the andesite bars and the iron bars. Now also a cool mod that I have installed, or that's on the server, is like diagonal windows and diagonal fences. So that allows fences to be connected diagonally, so it does look pretty cool across the like gaps right here, where it just connects straight through the middle instead of having like a random gap right there. I also love how the fences sit perfectly in the middle line of the layered tuff. I feel like it just fits so well with the blocks. Now that we have a first layer done, I don't like it just being 2 blocks tall, so I think I'm gonna add a second layer of fences, or technically the third layer of blocks. And with that last block, the entire fence is now 2 blocks around. I love the mix between iron bars and andesite bars. They go so well, like fit together really well, and it just overall looks really good. And now this whole area looks more like it's supposed to be here, instead of just a random building on top of a hill. And this will also give us the perfect spot to start selling power tokens. Now I'm going to leave that for next episode, but we could probably build like a small shop here to sell the power tokens, since we don't really have the shopping district set up behind me yet. Also, you may have noticed behind me, we now have 737,000 stress units as our capacity. That is because I added the steam engine that we have over by our workshop over there to the system. So now we have another level 9 steam engine connected up, so technically we have 5 working towards the power system. Before we end off this episode, I would like to give a huge thank you to Papa Bear 1878. Now Papa Bear 1878 is my very first Patreon subscriber, so that marks a huge milestone for me and my channel. If you would like to join my Patreon, I will have the link in the description. There is a free membership and also a few paid ones. If you would like to join, you can. But if you enjoyed today's episode and would like to see more, you should like and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Goodbye now.